お帰りなさいませ。
Hello, Baka Brigade. I'm a little behind just because I had a couple of things to do yesterday, so I didn't get to watch that new episode of 86 until today. Today's episode was a bit more calm, I'd say, but also kind of interesting to watch. So, first of all, I think the op now fits the mood of the show a little bit better. Before it was a bit still kind of like there's a bit of kick butt to it, and I'm sure like there's a lot of scenes where that theme could fit in, but majority wise I feel like the tone was a bit off. I think it was a good start, like a good opening, right? Like the opening's not bad. I just think like with the bum 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 dun dun dun, like I'm expecting something jazzy or almost, versus this one that's a little bit more melodramatic. Like the visuals are hitting everything. We still have the feelings of the characters. I guess when you start off the anime, it could seem like there's still a chance of things being... No, what am I talking about? The first part of the anime is literally like one of the darkest parts. Never mind. No. Either way, also a very interesting part of this plot, or part of the opening, that I'm not so sure about the symbolism of yet. A lot of blue and red visuals, and in today's episode, a little bit of a spoiler. In one of Shin's dreams, specifically when it came to Legion-like things, we had blue. So I'm assuming anything that has to do with the Legion is blue in the opening, but we'll see. Either way, I thought it was funny. The holiday's called Holy Birth, and I have to think about it like there are a lot of holidays that are basically just like either Holy Birth, Holy Death, or something of some sort of figure. Typically, I think Christianity kind of stuff, but you get what I mean. That is kind of funny. Watching Frederica watch regular television was just weird, just seeing like a kid kind of chilling. There is television in the Republic, but it's usually like the only time I see it is with propaganda-like stuff, right? It was interesting. We're seeing Raiden have a job. He's just kind of like working and chilling with two of the dudes as they're working. And he like has a trick to like moving the fridge and stuff, so that's also kind of interesting. Karena's going out and shopping, embarrasses herself by staring at the window for a little too long, and the lady seeing her and telling her to come in. Theo's out and about drawing, which isn't too surprising. Anju's currently going out and cooking, or at a cooking class, I believe. I do remember seeing, what was his name? The blonde dude who died that made me kind of sad about it, and I think my brain forgot. I think his name started with a D, right? It wasn't Daya, right? I don't think it was. Point still remains. Yeah, no. So it's interesting. I don't remember if she was like a cook beforehand as well. And then they also threw the whole, well, you could have a whole, you might even have kids one day, where you're cooking or something. I don't know, whatever it was. All I thought was like, man, that was like so poorly timed. Wow, that sucks. Specifically for her, because she's like the only one outside of Shin that has like a real love pushed at any point within the series so far, that I can really point to. And then Shin's at a library, chilling. He's looking for a book. He sees the book. A little girl sees the book. He hands the book to her, and then that prick of a little girl looks him in the eyes and then runs away from him because he's got scary eyes or something. It's just jacked up. Learn to raise your child better, whoever her parents are. And then we see her older brother Eugene, who brings her back to like, oh, you need to go apologize, it was rude to do that, guy. And then he's like, what do you need to say? She says thank you, and then does the same thing again, the little prick. Also, we get one of the best faces in this show for 5 seconds, because as Eugene and Shin are talking specifically about Big Brother stuff, which was interesting because obviously Shin was a little brother, so he's more likely just like seeing this role in reverse now that he's just kind of free to do what he's currently doing. Frederica shows up out of nowhere and is just kind of smug for 5 seconds and is like telling the young girl Nina, I believe her name is, specifically like something about princesses or whatever else. My brain got a little bit, I wasn't paying that much attention to that current point. All I just remember is that smug face she made, and that cracked me up like a ton. Surprisingly, Frederica is a funny character here. Also, I guess later on, this is mild spoiler, but again, if you're watching this, you should have already watched this. Her name's Augusta, or is it Frederica? Which one is it? Because I know it's like I don't think Augusta is a title, correct? Right? Somebody let me know. Anyways, so specifically, she dragged Shin, I think, over to the Holy Night, like a festival or something going outside. Like not like one of those anime festivals where it's nighttime and there's fireworks and stuff. It's just like a couple of stands going down the street. And she specifically wants this toy, And the dude's like, oh, your little sister's cute, is fine, you can get it for like 20% off. And she's like, please, Shin. And he's just like, one, you're not my sister. Two, no. And then she just stares at him and does that stupid like, please, Oni-chan garbage. But because it's Shin doesn't really care. And she just keeps holding the pose and repeating it until she starts to blush out of embarrassment. And that cracked me up. That's a nice take on a typical cliche kind of garbage. And then like she gets this stupid toy afterwards anyways, and is like, "Ha, you're so gullible." But it's just the fact that she's embarrassing herself, which is freaking hilarious. Right now, the five are getting to live kind of a normal life until Shin kind of has a dream, and the people who have had their heads taken off by the Legion are specifically I forgot what her name was specifically. I just know she dies really early. And she was kind of cool, and it was at that. I think she dies during the lake episode where they're all like kind of chilling and whatever else. I don't remember her name specifically. I know she had like a really long one I kept repeating, and then like I figured out her actual name, and I was like, oh, okay. But either way, they tell Shin like, it's okay that you guys live on, but please save them, like put them out of their misery being in the Legion. I'm assuming. I thought they ended her, but I guess not, and they might just be. There's a lot of people whose heads are stuck in that big old machine, basically, right? This is like some almost AI takeover thing where after they have those people's heads, they're in like this pseudo consciousness, or it's a copy of their consciousness, or not. We don't know, or you do know. You've read the novels and stuff, and I'm just an idiot. It's completely fine. That's how it works. The point still remains, as far as I'm aware, I guess it's just like they've transferred their consciousness partially. It's like a pseudo limbo. It's probably awful. So whether or not Shin's going to take them out in order to save them is another question. He does get up, right? Like I think he's sleeping on the desk, and he gets up, and then like in the window you can see like there's a flag, and it looks like his scarf that's around his neck. Obviously I think they're going back. I don't think they're really enjoying this too much. And as we see in the city, they keep making these faces as they I think they bring out these new juggernauts. Basically they're basically just juggernauts. They have a different name. And they're all looking and like what they kind of like sadness to them, because they really kind of want to get back out there and finish this fight. We finally get two of them talking out of our main cast, which is Anju and Theo. And they're talking basically about how Theo went to go press his ear at a reflex because it's just so much more convenient to be able to talk to each other through earcom than through these cell phones that don't really work. They talk about how Shin probably is kind of off his pass. They talk about how they're currently feeling. They almost seem to have survivor's guilt. I'm not gonna talk too much on that because I'm not like a therapist. But they definitely seem to have some sort of survival's guilt. There's a little bit of PTSD. I don't know if is there a certain because I don't want to just say, oh, it's Stockholm syndrome. Is there a certain syndrome or let's just go with syndrome or condition where a person might trick themselves into going back into a bad situation, not so much a bad person, but that'd still be Stockholm syndrome? Because you have to think they're all young, right? And they've been in war, and now they're going back because they think they belong or need to do so. Like, I know the plot's also pushing, like with Shin's dream, you could almost say like, no, they're literally being called back out into battle. However, like, is there a certain thing for this? Like, is there a certain term for a person who might leave the battlefield feeling like they have to go back specifically? Or just a bad situation, one or the other. If it's just Stockholm syndrome, you can just go like, yeah, it's just Stockholm syndrome. Frederica is freaking hilarious because she's dying because the maid Theresia is not there currently, and Raiden gets there, and then he starts cooking. She does the stupid please garbage again, and then to the blushing, but I think it worked a little bit better on Raiden. She still went to like had to say it the second time in embarrassment. And then as they're talking, Raiden's like, you're lucky Shin didn't get here first, and they're having a little talk about him, and then it turns out Frederica knows about Shin's brother, and Raiden's like, how do you know that? And then Shin just shows up, right? Shin is just behind her, and then she's like, how did you walk in here without making any noise? This character is actually really funny. They did a really good job with her. And now they basically say how they want to go back. Karena's like the first person to say it. or get them to do on the speech. They tell their new stepfather how they're just wanting to go back into war. And then, surprisingly, Frederica starts chastising him. Not as surprising, she did say that she was the, I don't remember, was it the Empress? What is the word that I was looking for? She was the leader of the Gaian Empire, the ones that led out Legion in the first place. And she starts talking more with a bit of a, like, her commanding tone now, like as if she was actually royalty. And she points out that he's just keeping them in a cage of pity, unlike the Republic, who are closer to the Republic, who is just forcing them into a cage. In a way, he is doing the same. It's just for pity's sake, because he thinks that they should be able to live their lives, which I don't necessarily disagree with him on. Here's the thing, right? And like, it's like an issue with story-ish, right? Because it has to happen in order to allow the story. But at an older age, you can see when people are doing stuff that's stupid. However, the issue is that when you try to chastise someone that's younger than you into, you know, not doing something really stupid, you almost get them to want to do it more. So it's like, if you're in his position, I can understand why you'd want to put your foot down. You have more experience in, at least in the experience in regard of what your life could become and the potential you have. Probably not more war experience. I'm gonna give it to the rest of Spearhead on this one, on the war experience. However, knowing what you could do with your lives, and he brings it out when he's like, okay, if I'm sending you back out, first you have to pass the academy test, and you also have to be thinking about what you want to do once you get out, because they don't even have that in mind. And that's where you can see their naivety come in. But like, oh, I haven't even thought about that. Well, yeah, no duh, you haven't thought about that yet. You haven't really even been out. It's been a month. You let yourself be out for a month, and then you felt like you had to go back in. And again, Frederica gives us her whole name, so it's like Augusta Frederica, and then there's some other parts. I did not write that completely down. Don't crucify me in the comments, sorry. And then it turns out she actually has like an actual power that she can see things. I'm not so sure if it was, I see people's experience, it looks like, because she realized her knight was out there, and I'm guessing she realized that from Shin's experiences. And then she also saw Shin's brother, she saw Shin's brother's, little emblem from the Juggernaut, or his Juggernaut, and was able to piece that together, or I'm guessing she was able to read his emotions at the time, or mine, about that. I don't have the specifics for this power, and again, I'm not going to go all super crazy. If someone wants to explain it and it's not spoilers, go ahead. If it is, just leave it alone. Just let me be stupid, it's fine. Look, me not understanding it's not going to ruin your day. You're okay, it's fine. And then she asks him to save her knight, basically. So now we have another goal. Shin is having to save someone who I am assuming, it's not the same thing, because I don't know if she's, like, related to that knight, right? But specifically, Shin is having to help a younger person kill an older person who was in which this younger person's knight, like his brother, in a sense, right? A dual Han, typically when I see them, are still decorated in knight armor, because I'm assuming that's more of a European mythology kind of thing, but I don't necessarily know. I just think that's interesting that Shin's in the same spot twice, however, from a different angle, where he's helping the other person out. And we haven't seen any of Livlina in this episode, so this was all just a just Spearhead episode. And I'm interested to see where they're going to go with this. Hopefully nobody dies throwing themselves back out there, but I have no idea. This is 86. We're down to a 5 cast, but that doesn't necessarily mean nobody can die. The writer goes, I don't know. It's been a minute since I had Andrew talk to anyone. Boom, explosion, done. We don't know. We don't know. We still have people on Vlylina's side, or at least just Cyclops. So we have one person, or we have 3 people there. We have Annette, Vlylina, Cyclops, and then Spearhead here. So I'm interested to see where it's going to go. Barker Brigade, let me know how you felt about this episode. Sorry for it being a day late. I'm going to be doing the Demon Slayer one in just a second, because I want to go catch my friend's streams and not be spoiled on it. See Tactics, holographic, EA, everything animated. And I'll catch you all later. Peace. Be sure to like and subscribe. Bye.